Today on Listen Up, social media. It's a love story that's taking North America by storm. How it's changing our sense of community, next. Welcome to Listen Up. I'm Ricky Ratliff in for Lorna Duick. It's a fact. Increasing numbers of us are spending more time interacting with people online and less time face-to-face. According to the stats, people who use the internet for personal reasons spend less time on traditional social activities than those who don't. And it's not just for the young folks. One of the fastest growing demographics of social media users is seniors. As a social media junkie myself, I understand firsthand the power of technology to influence our thinking and relationships. So today, we're taking a deeper look at our love affair with these new technologies. Later in the show, we'll meet a couple who found love online. And we'll connect through Skype, how else, with a man who is a recent People's Choice Award winner for Best Viral Video.
You can be a single lady if you want, okay?
I'm a horrible father.
We'll speak with that social media guru later in the show. But first, what's the secret behind social media's success? Joining me from the campus where he teaches in Claremont, California, is Dr. Paul Zak, a man who's come to be known as Dr. Love. So I just have to ask, first of all, why do they call you Dr. Love?
Well, you have to believe your own research. And so my research is really on the science of connection. And one way we connect is by touching each other. And so I started hugging everybody I meet in the last couple of years, which earned me the nickname Dr. Love. So I'm happy if I can spread a little more love around the world.
So in spreading more love around the world, you've begun some research on that topic scientifically. I personally am an addict, Dr. Love, of social media. Can you tell me why, in layman's terms?
Connection uses this molecule we discovered called oxytocin. We show that as you trust somebody, makes you feel empathy for another person, even a complete stranger. Now, oxytocin activates areas in the brain that are rewarding. They make us feel good. So in a very real sense, our brains are wired to make us feel good about connecting to others. So whether we do that, we've shown in person or through social media, it's the same brain circuit.
So what's happening to me as I begin to interact with others on Facebook and Twitter? What's scientifically happening?
So what's happening is your brain's releasing oxytocin. It's making you care about other people who are connecting to you. That makes you want to open up and be more compassionate, be more honest, be more forthcoming. And that can be a good and bad thing. Obviously, you have to protect your privacy online, but in people that we know, for example, on Facebook, in which we invite people to be our friends, I think we're more willing to open up sometimes to our friends through social media than in person.
So what motivated you to begin this study on social media and how it interacts with our brain?
It occurred to me that many of the connections we have occur through social media, through the internet, through phone calls, and whether those, in fact, would release oxytocin and motivate us to, again, reciprocate, to be trusting. And so we designed some experiments in which people, for example, tweeted. We took their blood before and after and showed that, indeed, when people tweet, their brains release oxytocin and they, again, open up. So oxytocin reduces stress or anxiety. And so when we are released, when our brains release oxytocin, we feel more comfortable, we feel safe and relaxed. And so social media doesn't seem to be replacing in-person interactions, it seems to be augmenting them.
Now, I read in your research that some levels of the oxytocin that were released while interacting with others on social media were as high as the feelings that one might experience on their wedding day. Now, that just seems unrealistic, but is this true?
It is true. So oxytocin is a short on-off switch, has a 3-minute half-life. So when I see you and you've never scratched me or kicked me or bit me, I release oxytocin and say, oh, here's a safe person to approach. Here's a person I'm willing to trust. Then when I see someone else who seems more sketchy, my brain releases stress hormones and says, stay away, you should be on guard with this person. So what the brain is doing is in a very subtle way, again, outside of your conscious awareness, signaling whether this is safe or not safe. So we found the same thing happens at rituals like weddings, where you're saying, look, these are people I want to be around. In the case of weddings, potentially for the rest of my life, I want to be around this person. So for social media, we're getting the same kind of thing. It's saying, oh, I like my Twitter followers. I actually care about them. I like my friends on Facebook. It's awfully fun to interact with them.
So, Doctor, knowing that our bodies are having this physical reaction to social media, is there such a thing as too much of a good thing?
Well, you have mentioned the word addict, and there's certainly people who are spending many, many hours on social media. So the criterion for when it's too much is when you're spending so much time on the computer that you're not doing your normal daily activity. So if it's crowding into your life so much that you're not seeing your friends in person, you're missing work or missing your homework, then you've gone too far. Then you should actually scale it back.
Christians believe that connection to each other and to God is an important part of their faith, and it's what drives their longing for community. Do you believe that part of our craving for connection through social media could stem from something deeper than just a chemical reaction?
There's two ways to think about this. One is that if you're not a believer, you can say, well, this is a system that evolved in the brain to motivate care for offspring and perhaps bonding small groups, and now it's just kind of misattributed to think that there's a God out there. If you're a believer, you could say, well, God implanted this in our brain to give us a way to connect to Him or her, and this is a mechanism in our brain that is evolutionarily old, has been there since mammals first evolved, and so it's something deep in our human nature, this need for connection, again, not just to my spouse, but something really big.
Dr. Paul Zak from Claremont University in California, thank you very much for being with Listen Up.
Thank you so much.
And when we return, we'll speak with the viral video star who trusts the social media community so much, he hired his own personal assistant through it and has yet to meet her in person.
There were actually other human beings on the other side of their 15 inches of LCD screen, and I realized that these are actual people that I'm making connections with.